What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Time for another movie review. It's yet another in the long history of holiday slasher movies with the Memorial Day Killer. I've got to say, one of the really cool things about being a DVD collector in the UK is that there is a CEX in pretty much every shopping centre in every town in the country at this stage, which is cool. A CEX is basically a place where you can pick up second-hand games and DVDs, Blu-rays, that type of thing, pretty much anything tech, which is rad. And you know, if you watch any YouTube channels of kind of people who collect DVDs and stuff in the UK, you'll almost certainly hear them talking about CEX and the finds that they've had in CEX. And one of the things it's been great for me is collecting kind of obscure, rare horror films on the cheap. Like for example, I mean, the Memorial Day Killer, I got this for 75p, I think. But often at times you'll find kind of 4 film packs in there for £1, and you know, obscure movies for 50p, 25p, really low prices. And it's great for me because, you know, my channel, I've sort of I'm a bit specialised in kind of obscure, usually quite shitty horror movies. Every so often you find a movie that you enjoy, like Cradle of Fear or The Marfield Cage, which I've reviewed. There's a link in the description. More often than not, though, they are terrible. I mean, there's links in the description to Bram Stoker's Legend of the Mummy and Slaughterhouse Massacre, which I both found this way and are both crap. But I'm talking about the Memorial Day Killer. Let's get into this movie itself. It's from 1999. It was directed by Christopher Allender and written by Marcus Gabriel. It essentially tells the story of Rachel and her group of friends who are going to visit a lake for Memorial Day weekend. She's there trying to sort of exorcise her demons a little bit. Her brother died. He drowned at the lake 3 years earlier. And she, I guess, is kind of going there as part of therapy. This was a tradition for the group of friends. So at the same time as her trying to get over her past, the friends are there as well, and they're going to have some fun and a party and drink a few brews and eat a few burgers, I guess. It doesn't take long after them arriving, though, for things to start going wrong. Car keys start going missing, leading to them being unable to escape, and members of the group of friends start being killed willy-nilly. It appears that someone has been waiting at the lake to take revenge. Now, this movie is profoundly low budget, man. I mean, you really can see it when you watch it. You know, the picture quality is pretty poor. It looks like digital video. The acting is pretty abysmal for the most part. You know, this is real Amdram type stuff. It's like a film school project. Something really odd as well is that the framing of the shots is weird. The framing of pretty much every shot is a little bit tighter than it should be, which is what leads me to think it's just a problem with the DVD. But like I say, every shot is just, you know, like say if you can only see this bit of my face rather than all of my face. It's you know, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Every shot, the framing is just a little bit off. I've got to say, the special effects do leave a little bit to be desired, although one thing that I can kind of almost compliment this film for is that they haven't kind of stepped out of their means. Oftentimes with these very low budget movies, you find that they try to kind of do quite intricate special effects with next to no money, and it doesn't really work at all. But these guys have clearly, who made this film, have clearly thought about what they've got at their disposal and not really stepped too far out of bounds with that. I mean, you know, overall, yes, the effects aren't great, but they are reasonably serviceable. There's a couple of them that are, you know, decent, but they're mostly a little bit hokey. I've got to say, there are a couple of editing things here and there that are quite cool. For example, when the story is being retold around the fireside of Rachel's brother, rather than it being kind of a traditional flashback to the event, you see kind of the faces of all the people involved through like a filter of fire, from obviously the fact they're around the fireside, and you know, you hear the story getting told, which is quite a cool way of doing things. I mean, I'm guessing they probably only did it to save money, so they didn't have to, you know, shoot a whole load of extra scenes that would probably have taken finding somewhere to shoot them and all of that sort of thing. Obviously, without wanting to go into plot spoilers, I do want to compliment the ending actually, because from a story point of view, on the whole, this film as you're probably well aware up to this point, is quite cliched. It is, it is the plot tropes of a million slasher movies, basically. But the ending is quite fun, when it comes to the twist at the end. It's kind of a double twist, which is actually really, really quite well executed, and I certainly don't think I was necessarily expecting it, but it was a pretty damn good little twist. I mean, like I say, overall this isn't a movie that I would particularly recommend. It's definitely not the worst movie that I've seen from this kind of system of buying a lot of kind of cheap, obscure movies. I mean, I've reviewed better, I've reviewed worse. This sits pretty much somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of the best way to sum it up, I guess, is that the film on the whole does totally sit somewhere in the middle. I mean, for all the good in the later half of the script, there is a problem with the fact that, the story's very generic, or the effects aren't necessarily the best, or, the framing is very weird. All it comes together in kind of a satisfying enough way for it to say, yeah, actually I didn't hate that movie. Overall, I've got to give it a really balanced score of 5. I know I'm sort of sitting on the fence on this one, and I know that people who watch my videos enjoy watching me kind of get a little bit worked up about the bad movies that I've watched. But overall, I've got to say this definitely isn't among the worst. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Luke Innes. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, I would love for you to go down into the description and check out my podcast. It's called Ironcast. It's all about music in its various forms. We do have a horror movies episode coming out on Saturday, so watch out for that. But other than that, all that remains is for me to thank you for watching. See you soon, ladies and gentlemen.